All right, I've had a few people in stream recently ask me about getting into PC gaming. They want to build a gaming PC, and their budget was about $600. All right, so the idea behind the build is it's good performance now. It'll run any game at 1080p with pretty good settings currently, and as a really strong upgrade path. It's the LGA 1151 socket, so you can put i5, i7 in here later down the road. You just swap out the processor, graphics card, and you can be running a pretty much top end PC. For the processor in this build, I went with the Intel Pentium G4560. This is a dual core processor with hyperthreading. It's very similar to a lot of the more expensive i3s. It's just slightly lower clock speed, but it's half the price of the i3s for almost the same performance. A really solid deal. For motherboard, I went with the Asus H100M. This is a solid motherboard. It's going to hold all our parts, do what it needs to do. Got nothing fancy, but it does everything we need it to do for this build. And with a G.Skill Aegis 8GB single stick of RAM, this is enough RAM to do pretty much whatever we need it to do right now. And if we need to upgrade to 16 gig down the road, you just buy another one, throw it in later on, and you're good to go. For hard drive, there's a couple options. I went with a Kingston SSD. This helps with performance a lot. The computer runs much smoother, and it just feels better running off SSD. However, the storage capacity is very limited with this drive. It's only 120 gig. So if you can throw another $50 for a storage drive in down the road shortly after building, I'd say within a month or two, because this drive's going to fill up fast, I would still recommend this SSD. If you don't want to spend any more money on a hard drive in the future, then I would go with the Western Digital Blue Drive, 1 terabyte. It's about the same price as the SSD, but it holds 8 times as much. It is slower. For graphics card, I went the GTX 1050. This card is a very solid card for 1080p gaming. You'll be able to run any game at high to very high settings. Good deal for this build. For the case, I have a Roswell FBM 01 Micro ATX. Long ass name. The case is really personal preference. Just find something that's relatively cheap and you think looks good. The power supply went with the EVGA 450B1. This is an 80 plus bronze rated power supply. Very solid power supply. More than enough power to run everything we need, and it leaves room for upgrades in the future. If you want to throw in a bigger graphics card or update the processor later on, we will have plenty of power to do so. And we have included Windows because this is a new PC build and we need it. A lot of people don't, so if this looks the same as some other build that's cheaper, they probably didn't include Windows or a monitor. The monitor is kind of a point of contention for me on this build. So there's two options for monitors. My personal choice puts us a little bit over budget. So if you can go a little bit over budget, this is my recommendation. If you want to stick to the budget, there's a solid choice for that too. For monitor, I have an Acer GN 246HL. It's a 24-inch 1080p monitor that runs at 144 hertz and a 1 millisecond response time. Now, this higher refresh rate really helps with fast-paced games, first-person shooters, racing games. You get a smoother gameplay experience from a monitor like this. So, what the refresh rate is, if you're not familiar, that's how many times your monitor can refresh per second. So if you're looking at your frame rate in game, if you're running a standard monitor is 60 hertz. So anytime your computer is running a game at over 60 hertz, if you have a standard monitor, you're not realizing any benefit from that. So with the 144 hertz monitor, anything running up to 144 frames per second in game, you notice the difference. It smooths out fast motion a lot, in my opinion. And this would be my choice if I could afford it at this price range. If you want to stick to the budget, we have a HP Pavilion monitor. It's a 21.5-inch IPS monitor. It's a 60 hertz refresh rate. However, it is an IPS panel. IPS panels have much better viewing angles and color accuracy than the other monitor in our selection here. So if you're running the real fast paced type games, the Counter-Strike, Go's, Call of Duties, Battlefield, or any type of racing game, if you can afford it, I would recommend going with the 144 hertz display. If you don't play those types of games, you just play maybe MOBAs or RTS or something along those lines, then this monitor might be the better option for you. I didn't include mouse and keyboard in this list. They're really personal preference. So just find something cheap that works for now. If you have one lying around, that's great. You can use that. I might throw in a couple options in the description. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to comment. Come chat with me in stream. I can answer them live. I'll have links in the description to the PC part picker list. That's just a compilation of all the parts. I might update some parts as time goes on. If some things go on sale, whatever, parts will change. They'll all be basically the same. Check out the description. You can find all the parts there. I didn't want to get real technical in the discussion. This is just a basic overview of a build. If you want to discuss why I went with something over something else, leave a comment. Let me know. We can talk about it. Thanks for stopping by, watching it. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you thought. If you like it, leave a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, thumbs down.